Alright, so this time I'm going to be doing a Stamina Sorcerer build for PvE. I'm gonna start out with going through the champion point setup. So there are better builds out there, but this is a pretty easy build to get down, and it's pretty simple, but still hits really hard. I haven't fully optimized this build to its maximum potential yet either, so there is room for improvement. But this is the CP setup currently. You got Fighting Finesse, Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, and Wrathful Strikes. Reason for that, Fighting Finesse is just giving you more crit damage, so when you do crit, you're going to crit a little bit higher. Deadly Aim, most of your stuff is going to be single targets. So that's just basically buffing your main damage. Thaumaturge, damage over time. This patch in particular, High Isle, the newer DLC's dot damage has been buffed a bit. So right now the meta is a little heavier on the dot side. So Thaumaturge to buff your dots, and then Wrathful just to add a little bit of weapon and spell damage to your abilities. After that, we're going to go into the skills. So, for stamina, it's not a whole lot different than Magicka this patch. As far as gear and abilities and rotations and stuff, it's all real similar. But as always, you're going to want to max out your class passives. Just get all the passives maxed out in all three of your class abilities. You're also going to want to use two-hand and dual-wield. Those are going to be your main bars, weapon stuff. You're also going to be using medium armor. You're going to want to have your Fighter's Guild as close to maxed as you can get it. You're going to want to have your Undaunted. You don't want any of the abilities, but you want the passives from that. You want your Assault, just the first ability here, just for Major Gallop. Just nice to have. Nothing else in there is particularly useful. I'm Redguard, which is like a sustain build basically, but if you're looking to hit harder, you could go with a Khajiit or a Nord for your race. Redguard is just a nice, easy solo kind of play. If you're trying to get into cores or do more damage, a Nord would probably be the way to go, or maybe a Khajiit for the crit bonuses. Other than that, you're going to want your Alchemy just to 50 and then get medicinal use so you have full uptime on your potions. Then for ability bar, you're going to be using Rapid Strikes from the dual wield. It's the Morph of Flurry. You're going to be using that for your main spammable. You're going to be using Trap Beast, Morphed Barb Trap from the Fighter's Guild. You're going to be using Bound Armor, Morphed Bound Armaments. That is in your Dark Magic. Be sure. Nope, that's in your Daedric Summoning, sorry. You're going to use Camouflaged Hunter, which is Expert Hunter Morph. That's also a Fighter's Guild ability. So is your ultimate, the Flawless Dawnbreaker, the Dawnbreaker Morph. I'm also throwing on the Volatile Familiar, because it just does passive damage, and it gives you a buff for your health and stuff, just for having a Daedric pet out. So your Daedric Summoning passives help buff you a little bit there, and it's just damage. You don't even have to cast it, it's just always dealing damage. So that's nice. It's just just a little buff spot that deals continual damage over time. So that's going to be your front bar. Your back bar is going to be Stampede from the two-handed. It's into the crit charge morph in two-handed skill line. Next is going to be your Hurricane. It's the lightning form morph. That's in Storm Calling. And then Critical Surge, the Surge morph, also in Storm Calling. That's both for the buff and for a side of healing. So as you see here in the tooltip, it's giving you your weapon and spell damage buffs, your Major Brutality and Sorcery. It also heals you a lot while you're dealing damage, so that's always nice. Then you're going to have your Dark Deal on the back bar, just in case you get into, like I said, this is mostly a solo build. So, you're going to get into hairy situations, perhaps, and you might need to get some healing or some stam real quick. Like if you're sprinting around everywhere, it's just the tooltip. It's not something you use in combat. But if you're sprinting all over the map, doing quests or racing through dungeons right before a boss fight, you can just spam that dark deal to get your resources back quick. And then of course the pet, because you gotta have a double bard, so it doesn't disappear when you swap bars. So then you're going to be running Storm Atronach for your back bar. That's going to be your main damage ultimate. The main reason for that is not only does it deal a shitload of damage single target, also it's good for group content because ally can activate the charged lightning, and it now gives major berserk to nearby allies instead of just the person that activates the synergy. So that's really nice. That's Mag and Stam are both running that for their for the Sorcerer. That's the bar setup for abilities. Next, gonna just go into the food and whatnot. So all into stamina for your attribute points, of course. And then food, you're going to be using the Lava Foot, which is the parse food. It's a blue food. I'll show you in the tooltip. Boon for a thief, for your Mundus Stone. This right here is the food you're using. Now, if you're feeling particularly squishy, maybe you don't feel you have enough health, you can use Dubious. It gives you, it's almost as good for the regen and stuff. Gives you a little bit of health though. And I'm just using basic trash pots because you've got the Camouflaged Hunter, and that's giving you your major savagery and prophecy for your 20% weapon and spell crit, or your 10% weapon and spell crit. And that's your major for your crit, and you're getting your minor, or your major weapon from your surge. So those are the buffs you get with the potions, the spell power and or weapon power potions. So don't need to use those, you just use trash mag pots, saves you a lot of gold. And that's basically the setup for this. Trying to think if there's anything else other than just doing a short little dummy hump for you. Gear, right? Yeah, gear. Might want to go over that. So you're going to be running Kinra. There are better gear setups also than this. This is just what I happen to have on hand as hand-me-downs from other characters that I just kind of put it together with some, so I didn't have to remake full sets and stuff. I was just being cheap and lazy, basically. Instead of running Kinra there, you could run Reliquin on the weapons and jewelry or on the body. That's fine. Pillar of Nirn and Reliquin is better than Kinra and Reliquin currently. So if you want to run that, that's a good option. There's a lot of gear options and things that you can run. I just happen to have Kinra's already golded out from another character, so I just threw that on here with the Reliquin. But I'm running the Kinra on the daggers, and charged and Nirnhoned for the dagger traits with a flame and a shock cliff. The reason I'm doing flame and shock is because flame for the burning dot, and then shock because you have a bonus to shock damage on a sorcerer. As you see, it's a 1406 shock there and a 1343 for the flame. That's pretty decent. And then back bar, you're going to be running the Maelstrom Greatsword. You can run the Perfected if you can get it, but the non-Perfected works just fine. It's just back there for a little bit of ability buffs, so I'll get to that when I go through the rotation. But it's for that two-handed ability. Then Slime Craw, One Piece and Medium for the head. And then the Reliquin 5-piece, and then instead of a second monster in slime, I'm running a Valken Scoria for the shoulders. The reason for that is Valken gives you that penetration bonus. Now you could just run a light piece, and that gives you some penetration. You could just run a like monsters in light, and that would give you some penetration from the light skill line, but I'm not doing that, so this is just what I'm running. And of course, if you gold everything out, it's going to be hitting a little bit harder, and there are better gear setups to use. So this is just a nice starter spot, and you can work your way up. But Reliquin and Kinra are really easy to get. Kinra comes from Black Drake Villa, and Reliquin comes from Cloud Rest, which is both you can just do on normal. It's pretty easy to get groups for both of those. Pretty popular things to run. Then just max stamina glyphs on all your gear in Divine's trait. And then for the jewelry, you're going to be doing weapon damage glyphs in Bloodthirsty. So I'm going to come over here, start off with full ultimate. I'm just going to come over and, well, you know what? I will do it on the, I'll go ahead and do it. I got the Harrowing Trial, Harrowing Reaper dummy here. I'm going to start off by popping the potion and then straight in. So the crit surge you hit every 2 rotations. Get a little bit of leniency with that. And then just make sure you're using, keeping good uptime on all your stuff. You don't want your buff timers running out. Always try to get your light attacks in. Light attack weaving is still really good even with the new updates, despite what people may tell you. Up a little bit there. My boss right now. That's no problem. Now I'm not running an execute or anything on this build. It's very simplistic. Right there, just about 81k. Pretty much 80 on the dot. Not bad for all purple body pieces. I mean, the gold jewelry and weapons definitely help, but all in all, it's a pretty decent roundabout build. It's pretty easy to do. The rotation isn't terrible. And it works. As you noticed, I didn't run out of stamina even close. Like, it's a really good self-sustained solo build. It works in a lot of content. I hope it helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. And I'm going to be posting an updated Magsort build here sometime in the next week, probably. So if you guys need any help or have any questions, anything, feel free to leave it in the comments, or you can message me on Xbox if you play. I'm on North America server. Have a good night, everybody. See you next time.